Hello everyone, my name is Dravish Rawat. Today I am going to talk on a topic accounting cycle. So let's start the topic. So accounting starts from identifying the transactions, identifying the transaction, measuring the transaction, recording the transaction in journal, classifying the transactions in ledger account, sim- summarizing the transaction in trial balance, trading P&L and balance sheet, analyzing the transaction and communicating the so now let's start with the first one, identifying the transaction. See, whenever we are doing accounting, we have to keep in our mind whatever the transaction has been happening in an organization, we have to record everything. But we have to keep in mind that whatever we are recording, that should be in monetary terms. For example, suppose sales of good worth rupees 20,000. So here the transaction has been done in a monetary terms, which where cost is involved, where 20,000 is a cost. So suppose so here the transactions must be recorded in the book of journal, and that should be classified in the ledger account. And now another example, if we take um, um, uh, if we take paying 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 food bill, uh, paying food bill of personal person. So this should not be involved in a transaction, because here the transaction is not related to business, and it is not expressed in monetary terms. So we have to keep two things in mind whenever we are recording the transaction in a book. First, that should be related to business, and whatever the transaction is happening, it should be in monetary terms. So this is the first main point which we have to keep in mind to record the transaction in a journal. Now let's discuss the second one, measuring the transaction in monitoring. So this is same as first one, it is somewhat related. Here the transaction should be measured in monetary terms, which is, however, it should be mostly related to monetary terms, like as I have told before itself, the as I have told before the example, that the transaction should be in monetary terms. Monetary terms, that means purchase of goods rupees 20,000. So whatever the organization is purchasing, that should be in monetary terms. So here cost is involved of 20,000. Now next, let's move to the third point, recording the transaction. The whatever the transaction is involving and whatever the transaction is happening, that should be recorded in journal. So journal is a book of original entry. Here all whatever the transaction is happening in day to day in a business, that all should be recorded in a journal. So journal is a book of original entry, and here in journal we follow the double entry system. And after recording, let's move to the third one. Third one is all about classifying. The classifying is done in a ledger account. In classifying, we have to classify the account. We have to make separate account for separate. We have to make separate account for separate purchase. Like if we purchase purchase machinery, so we have to make here separate account for machinery. Here we will use machinery account, and here whatever from where we have purchased and how much money we have paid for that particular purchase, we have to mention that. After recording and classifying, we have to move to the summarizing. After that everything has been done, now we have to summarize it. We will summarize in a trial balance and trading P&L account and balance sheet. So here in trading P&L, we will mention what is how much what are the direct expenses, what are the non-direct expenses, and in P&L account we will mention how much profit has been earned and how much loss has been occurred in a business. After this, everything will be mentioned in balance sheet. In balance sheet, we will see the final result, how the company is performing, whether company is facing losses, or whether company is having somewhat whether company is facing losses, or it is going in a good manner. So this we have to keep in mind. After that, we have to after summarizing, we have to analyze whatever we have done, whatever the everything whatever we have done, we have to analyze everything. And analyzing, we have to keep in mind how the company is performing, how our how the management what are the steps management has to follow to make company to grow. See, if when we analyze the account, if we see any error, like if we find that the company is not performing well and company is facing losses, so we have to keep in mind how we will improve that condition and how we will improve that situation, so that the company may generate more revenue and may occur profit in a business. This we have to mind. And the third one is after analyzing the communicating. So everything whatever we have done after analyzing, after founding that company is in profit or loss, we have to communicate everything to the shareholder as well as to the stakeholder. See, when we see, this is the major decision which top level management has to take. See, after analyzing, summarizing, classifying, recording everything whatever has been I have told already, we have to keep in mind, after communicating, we have to communicate to the internal users as well as to external users. And as internal users comes the employees, and external users, stakeholders also involved to, because they have to take the major decisions whether they have to invest the money or they have not to invest money in a business. So this is the main condition or main concern of a business. So everything whatever we are saying or whatever the activities are happening in a business, we have to keep in mind whether the company is profitable or it is not profitable. See, if company is profitable and if we say this if we give this information to the investor, then they will be more interested to invest more money in our business, because they will generate more revenue or more profit in future. Because whatever the amount has been invested in a business, it is a long term. So in long term, everything take more than 10 years. So if a company is getting more investment, then company can diverse its portfolio, and it can have an extension of business, and they will diversify their business, and they will generate more revenue. See, if company is having more revenue, then that means the company is growing, and company is growing. After that, we will after reducing all the taxes, we will generate some amount of profit. So that is the main aim of a business, to generate a profit in a business. So this is the main purpose of communicating the information to the final user, that means internal user or as well as to external user, which helps to understand the condition of a business and helps to understand the how much the money has been involved in a business. And after saying everything to the stakeholder as well as to shareholder, it will help everyone to generate a profit. And if investors are happy, that means everything is going in a good way. See, and we also have to communicate to the government as well as to banks. So they will see that the person is whether in a condition to return the investment, whether return the money whatever the business has borrowed from a bank. So they have to check their balance sheet. In balance sheet, everything has been involved, whatever the amount has been there in a business, or how much they have invested, or how much uh, they still have to invest in a business. So everything has to be mentioned in a business. And to government, see, government also checks the company's account, whether they will see that the how much profit is involved in a company, or how much, whether the company is performing well, or they are not following any illegal activities, or they are not borrowing money from illegal investors, or from where a company, where from where an organization, suppose any countries facing the condition of war between other countries, and from there itself the company is borrowing money, that means they are enemy, and from enemy they are borrowing the money in our country, that means it is illegal. So company may have some of the issues. So because of this all concerns, the government also checks the record of organizations or companies, whether they are doing everything in fair manner or not. So this is all the concerns which is are the main concern of an business. So this is all about accounting cycle. And now let's start. We'll discuss other topic also. So thank you everyone.